issue in the U.S. and England. We need to start pointing this out. They're bringing the foreigners in to be our rulers.
Yeah, and they've done this throughout history. You know, in the Chinese, when the Tiananmen Square thing, you know, China's a country of like 200 different ethnicities, and what they did to Beijing, they brought in farmer troops from the rural areas who had no problem shooting people who weren't like them. And you know, in Britain right now as well, you know, got all these people from different countries. They don't feel that same maybe bond with British people, so yeah, they'll follow their orders. And you know, as someone said, I can't remember who, you can always pay half the poor to kill the other half, and it's a sad state of affairs, and that's why we need to stay very vigilant. And as you say, Alex, just keep shining a light on this, keep showing people. But sometimes I despair because I can show people, like even the people closest to me, a lot of my work, and they go, and so what? Who cares? Like, it's not really happening because they've been, you know, dumbed down by Hollywood, and they think almost that the paramilitary black uniforms are cool because it's in a Beyonce video. Rihanna has got them dancing on stage with her. It's incredible when you go down the rabbit hole and you see how it's all connected. You start connecting the dots.
And you show them government documents where they're putting cancer viruses in the vaccines and they giggle. And then 5 years later, they're dying of cancer. It's still funny. Because it's a mind trick. It's Crime Stop from Orwell, where they decide it isn't a threat to them, and so they're part of the power structure.
Yeah, Alex, I had a very close friend of mine who was doing Love Police films with me. I'm gonna respect his privacy, but he got arrested and he's got 3 children. And the police said, unless you comply with us and bow down and stop doing these films, we will get a psychiatrist here and section you, which means to keep you under the Mental Health Act. You will lose your children. And that's how they shut him up. And luckily, I don't have kids, but it is a psychological battle. And it makes me despair sometimes, but I'm very optimistic. I know we will win this. You wouldn't be doing your radio show. I wouldn't be doing my films.
Well, think of that tyranny. Think of that ultimate tyranny. It's like Gary Cooper had his son taken, and it was in the police report. They've taught their children not to trust the government, and the court said, we're taking them. I mean, you do not question your God. You don't do that in America. Since when do you have freedom of speech in America? You sit down, you shut up, and we're going to take your kids. But they're already taking them with the water and the food, folks. They've already got them. They're already soft killing them right now. But the good news is the people are breaking the spell, and we're not going along with it. So I mean, my God, that is Soviet-level tyranny. So they said, we're going to take your kids if you don't stop going out peacefully and speaking on the streets in England.
Yeah, his main message was everything is okay. He was a very spiritual man, still is. And he went out there just wanting to lower fear around people. And I don't know if they were physical with him, but they were certainly psychological in the Soviet way. And actually, just this week in Norway, a friend of mine said there's a doctor been thrown in a psychiatric institution for speaking out against the swine flu vaccine. And Norway is probably, you know, people don't know this, one of the last few truly communitarian communist countries in Europe. And it's mind-boggling. But, you know, we just need to stay strong, stay alive, realize we're all in this together. And I think, Alex, they will fail. The elites will fail because the system will collapse because you can't treat people like this, and people are realizing this. So I reckon it's maybe 2 or 3 years before there's utter chaos. And you know, they try and bring about order out of chaos. That's the Illuminati motto. I think we need to bring about a bit of peaceful chaos out of their manufactured slave order. It's the only way. We need to get the universe spinning in different ways because as it stands now, it's not a world I want to bring any children into. So, you know, you've got to do what's right.
Think about that, though. They told him, people can go watch the videos, you're not going to go to a town square and talk to people and come up to police and say, we care about you, we're all humans together, we eat at the same restaurants, same grocery stores, our children are growing up, look at this police state, you know, let's care about each other. And that's just, we're taking your kids. You do not do that. I mean, you do not talk. You do not talk. Think of how evil those police are, that they think it's okay to terrorize someone for their children. They think of us literally as subhuman trash. And notice, as soon as the tyranny comes in, as soon as they've got enough people ready to oppress, the banks just steal everything. The system is robbing everyone, reducing us down to just groveling slaves. We're going to come back, talk to Frank, Mark, Bobby, Seth, and others. The next 2 short segments, we've got another guest coming up with big solutions on the states' rights movement and a lot more. You'll want to stay with us. Infowars.com, prisonplanet.tv.
You worry. You see the signs and worry about the future. You worry about economic turmoil and food shortages. How to be prepared while preserving your sanity. Your answer may be at hand. Author Linda Runyon lived off the land, isolated from civilization. She knows that as long as the sun shines, there will be plenty of free food all over God's green earth. Perhaps the only sane insurance is knowledge of wild edible plants. The cost of learning is minimal. Wild food grows everywhere, and you will see it everywhere. It's every bit organic and more nutritious than our modern diets. Well respected in her field, Linda's approach to teaching this subject includes books, flashcards, and video with an emphasis on health, safety, practicality, and joy. Learn how to identify it, where and when to find it, how to prepare, use, and store it. Go to Linda's website, ofthefield.com, and take advantage of special offers. Or if you're not online, call her 24-hour toll-free order line at 888-51-EAT-FREE. That number again, 888-51-EAT-FREE. A little knowledge makes starvation impossible.
The question is, where should the American people draw their line in the sand?
What have we got? A republic or a monarchy?
A republic is based on a constitution which protects minority rights.
Not democracy, not mob rule, two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner.
So they think they own our land, they think they own our water, children, our education, our money.
We have to define who we are and what we will tolerate.
Somebody's going to ask you what you did during the Patriot Uprising.
You have been warned.
We have the facts. We have the Constitution. We have the Bill of Rights. We have common law. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm so excited to be able to offer you Don't Tread on Me, Rise of the Republic. Tyranny is upon us, but liberty and the sleeping giant that is the American people is rising. A new tool in the info war. Don't Tread on Me. Order it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139 and support independent, patriotic Liberty films.
Aerial spraying, chemtrails, the modified atmosphere, heavy metals and pesticides, carcinogens and chemical fibers all falling from the sky. You have a choice to keep your body clean. Detoxify with microplant powder from hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608. It's odorless and tasteless and used in any liquid or food. Protect your family now with microplant powder. Cleaning out heavy metals, parasites, and toxins. Order it now for daily intake and stock it now for long-term storage. Visit hempusa.org or call 908-691-2608 today.
Sorry.
You do. Come this way. You do.
Don't touch me. You physically assaulted me. I love the Guido attitude.
Come on.
Hey, you can't physically assault me. No, you can't. I can report you then. You can't physically assault me. Yeah, I love it. You sound like an American now. Have a nice day. Yeah.
Video after video of people coming over if you have a camera in public and hitting you, attacking it. But they don't mind if the government's watching them. And all over the U.S., police are arresting people for wiretapping if they videotape police in public when there's no perception of privacy. It's just crazy. And I've noticed there's these comments over there by people of, you must be an American. So I guess they said that to you when you were talking to the new prime minister during his press conference. They said, oh, shut up, American. So I guess calling somebody an American is like a big insult.
Yeah, what it is, Alex, it's from World War II when a lot of the GIs were over in Britain, and obviously American men probably a bit more tanned, a bit more muscular than some of the English, and so they got lots of English girls, and there was a big resentment amongst the English men about the Yanks, in inverted commas, being very boisterous and having fun and enjoying the women. So it is a 60-year-old racism against Americans, and it's very funny because racism against Americans when Britain follows America very culturally and very closely. So I think they just didn't have anything else to say to me, so they just threw the yank comment at me, which is just quite funny.
It's all about divide and conquer. Let's go ahead and take a phone call. Frank in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, Al?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I know all your info is factual and true, but you guys are really missing the real conspiracy. We're fighting satanic beings, man. I mean, real live